Hi, everyone, and welcome to a new podcast, Shades of Black. I am your co-host, Neralan, the founder of Consciously Black, a community platform where I gather Black individuals in Canada to discuss their Black experiences and revive Black pride.
And I'm Myriam, a registered psychotherapist and founder of Thoughtful Therapist, a mental health platform aimed to empower marginalized communities. And together we have created Shades of Black, a bi-weekly podcast emerging from both our studies where we shed light on the different experiences encountered within our Black communities and the mental health aspects that exist within those experiences.
Join our new community space where we discuss our challenges, our successes, our joy, our pain, and our Blackness. Follow us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all other platforms to tune into our bi-weekly episodes. We cannot wait to converse with you.
Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Shades of Black. I am your co-host Neralan.
And I'm Myriam. And today we'll be presenting a special episode for Pride Month. We have a special guest, Sade.
Hi.
And so for today's episode, we really wanted to highlight some of the experiences faced by a few or one person within the queer community or the LGBT community here in Ottawa. And as well as we wanted to have a conversation about how we as a Black community can better support the Black queer community, knowing that there's a lot of taboo conversations when it comes to speaking about the gay community. So we wanted to maybe just shed a bit of light on how we can be of better support. So for today's episode, our intention is to be open-minded, is to be able to have more of an active listening and to, what's the word I'm looking for?
I think active listening is the perfect word.
It's the good word? Okay, yeah. Active listening and open-minded for today's conversation. Neho and I, we are also learning as we know more about this conversation. Well, not know more about this conversation, but as we...
know more in order to become better allies.
Yes.
To the queer community. So let's just dive in. Hi. So the first question is for you is to just introduce yourself, what you identify to, and
So my name is Sade. I am a lesbian. She, her are my pronouns. And I'm from Burundi. I'm Burundian.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, that's good. Your ethnicity. Okay, good. So, can you tell us a bit more about your experiences as you developed your identity within being a lesbian?
Yeah, it was definitely a roller coaster, slightly, just a little bit. It wasn't crazy though, so that was nice. Well, I started questioning my sexuality at around the age of 14. Around the age of 14, I knew girls were pretty, but I couldn't picture myself being intimate with a girl. It just didn't compute. It took me a while to even get to that, honestly. I am a byproduct of compulsory heterosexuality. So this is media that I consumed, the environment that I grew up in, just being living in Canada, honestly. The idea of being, you're kind of sold this idea of being straight and you don't really realize it. So that happened to me. And I'm gay. And then, sorry.
It's okay.
Can we use gay as a word to identify a person? Or is it offensive?
I don't think so. Personally, I don't think that being gay is offensive. I do think that I think that when it comes to identities, the best thing that you can do is to constantly keep an open mind. Even among trans people, there are different words, there are different pronouns, and everyone that identifies with that pronoun expresses it very differently, for instance. So there's a lot of I think that the most important idea to have when wanting to be the best ally is to just understand that you will not know everything the same way that you can be an ally for a Black person. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, yeah. So, yeah, I then questioned my sexuality at 14, and then at around 16 I was open to girls, but it wasn't something that like I was completely off boys, really. That was really my internal struggle, the biggest one. I remember wanting so badly to know what it was. I wanted to know what my sexuality was so badly. And I think that consumed me more than being honest with how I'm feeling about when I look at this person. Do I like them? Or I think that was the biggest thing.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So what pushed you, or what consumed you so much within wanting to know more about your sexuality?
I think it was being able to see my future. I wanted to be able to picture it, because my whole life leading up to it, it had always been a man that I was walking down the aisle to, you know, and the dress that I was going to wear, I'm not saying that just because I don't want to wear a dress at my wedding. That's not a gay thing. That's a personal thing. So I wanted to be able to picture my future.
Okay.
Yeah. So that consumed me.
Okay.
And then I don't know what made me like let go of that consumption. I don't know. Like, I think I grew up and started dating, started kissing girls, kissing boys, seeing what I was liking. And then I liked the girls a lot better. So it wasn't until like I was 19 really that I fully claimed being a lesbian. And when I was coming out, the word lesbian was very weird. Like, I was more comfortable with gay before lesbian.
How so?
I don't know why, but lesbian just felt like this, I don't know, big word. And gay was just like, you know, I grew up with everyone using gay. Sometimes it was not the nicest thing, but like it was a more normalized word, whereas lesbian was like very much, I guess maybe even sexualized. Yeah.
That's a good one, I think, because I was having that conversation the other day with somebody, and I was talking about how, you know, when there's such a bigger taboo when it comes to men being gay, but when it is to being women being gay, then there's a lot more fetishizing happening. So I don't know if you want to touch a bit on that.
I definitely do.
Yeah.
Please let me talk. Oh my gosh. Okay, so when I was younger, I was too nice to say no when someone was asking for my phone number, right? So then when I realized I was gay, I was like, hey, bet. I'm just going to tell them I'm gay. They're not going to be interested anymore, right? That's the logical process of thinking. No, it did not happen that way. I found out the hard way that when you are gay, you do not tell people that you don't tell men that you're gay. Because they will be like, oh, like, you just need some good dick in your life. Ugh. Can I swear?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, you just need some good dick in your life. Like, I'm sure, like, oh, can I join you? Like, all of that. I've heard that. All of that. Yeah.
It's kind of
it's very disturbing.
It's very disturbing.
Like, yeah, I think that it is not only disturbing, I think it's rude. Because when I hit on, like, when someone is hitting on me, for instance, I think that, like, no is never respected. Just being a Black woman, right? And I don't look gay, so when I'm out, it's very much I just live like a Black woman. I mean, sometimes I look gay, depends on the day.
but what does it even mean to look gay?
Okay, so I think what I'm about to say is a little controversial.
Yeah.
I understand that technically there is no, just because you're dressed a certain way, that doesn't mean that you identify a certain way. 100%, I think that is true. That doesn't negate the fact that there is a certain way that certain people dress. Yeah. I don't think that you should assume that someone is that just because of the way they're dressed. Yeah. But I think we can accept the fact that, you know, if I'm wearing more, like, if I'm wearing, right now I'm dressed pretty feminine. It's not giving gay, but I have short hair still. having short hair is a gay thing. I don't know. I think ultimately there is no way to dress gay. Like that's the right answer.
It's interesting you're saying that, because me and Noho both had short hair at some point in our life.
I was like, I had the
did
same
anybody
haircut
think
as
you were gay?
The thing is, when I had my taper cut, I don't think nobody said it, but I think at one point, one of my stepbrothers, I kind of had a look from him, and I think he had a question in his head, and in my head I'm just like, okay, I'm waiting for you to ask and to say it so that I could tell you no, that doesn't mean anything. But I think automatically when I did cut my hair, maybe some people were kind of just like, like, what's going on here? You know,
maybe
like, what is she
I think that's
into?
always the question about like, why did she cut her hair for? You know, because I guess people like sexualize long hair on girls most of the time. And when I decided to cut my hair short, is because I'm like, I'm going to be that girl. And that was wearing my big hoop. Honestly, I was so confident when I cut my hair.
It's so fun to have short hair. There's a freedom that comes with it.
And I feel like I'm more confident. A lot of people was like, okay, having like long braids or long hair give more confident. I'm like, no, just because it's not a lot of people, a lot of girls like identify like their beauty based on how like their hair textures and stuff like that. And the fact that I was able to like cut my hair super short, and it was a whole different type of confidence. It was just like, my hair is short, I still look cute, and I'm that girl.
You just understriding it.
Yeah, I used to have long hair. I had like long permed hair, and then I cut it because I felt like I had attached too much beauty to my hair. Especially like having grown up with that hair.
100%. So I guess the other question just that I have is, I think we could quickly like discuss before even we started this podcast, but the question was the religion, like which aspect, and the aspect of religion into your religion, household, into your life, and if it affected you some way, and if no, like, just basically give us like your relationship with
religion,
with God, religion, whatever that might look like, and like maybe like how that was brought up to you. Did you have any like, am I sinning? Am I, any of that stuff?
I grew up in a home where God was love, so even before I thought anything of my sexuality, God was never, at least the way that I understood it, was like, was never to be feared. You know, I know that in church, that's why I personally didn't like going to church for that reason, because it went against what I believed, that like God is meant to be feared and all of these things. I did not grow up like that. God is love, accepting. You were made in the image of God, however you are. So for me, religion was not really a factor in being afraid or no, I was not. I don't even think I considered it when I came out. I am blessed to not have to worry about my relationship with God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're like openly out. So have you ever had any of those comments like, you might be like a devil's child, or I don't know, like, like one of those extreme comments where you're just like, no? Okay.
I'm not. Yeah. Like, I don't know how. I think God's looking out for me. I don't know how, but I have yet to have a negative experience with being gay. Like, I have never had anyone other than, I have not had a bad experience. I don't tell everybody, to be fair. Like, I am mindful in the spaces that I do say it. Like at work, for instance, it takes me time before I feel comfortable. Or when I'm meeting someone, like my barber or whatever, I change barbers pretty often. Like I have to suss it out before I say anything. Most of the time I won't. So like it really depends. You can't really be saying that to everybody. And
so are you being more mindful because of what you know can come out of the conversation, or how people can react, or is it just more so personal? Like,
no, it's really how people react. Like it depends where it's coming from too. Honestly, if I'm speaking to a man, then I'm more mindful of like whether or not I'm a challenge to him. Like, you know what I'm saying? So there's that. If it's like an elderly, either like a family member or whatever, that as well as more like, is my name going to be in your mouth for the next 3.5 years just because of this? You know, like, do I need that do you need to know? Will it affect you at all? Like, if not, then no, I'm probably not. Yesterday was actually the first day that I tell an extended family member. Like, my friend was upstairs. I had my best friend upstairs, and he was just hanging out with me. And she was dropping something off, and I went to go say goodbye at the door, whatever. And she asks me, like, oh, is that your boyfriend? And I'm like, no. Like, I was like, so like, whoa, like, why would you think that? That was so crazy. And then she's like, oh, like, I'm like, no, I'm gay. And then she was like, oh, I'm okay with that. That's so cool. It was so cute though. Like, and again, very privileged to be able to even do that. Like, yeah. But yeah, that's me.
So how was it coming out to your parents? Or
very funny. We will touch on that because I do have a stance on coming out.
Me too. But we can have a conversation.
But I will tell you how I told my parents.
Okay.
I'll tell you my dad. That was a really, really funny story. So I'm at work. So my last name means gift of God, right? And then I have a coworker. His name is Don, right? Okay. So then he starts cracking jokes or making jokes like, oh, you know, like, since we have the same name, that means like we're meant to be, da da da. But he's just joking. We're meant to be. I'm like, okay, well, if you want to marry me, you're gonna have to ask my dad for my hand in marriage. Like, you can't just get this shit for free, you know?
Yeah.
And so then I call up my dad at work, and I'm like, okay, like, ado papa, yakay kanki ver, ask my hand in marriage, you know? And you know what my dad says? He's like, quelqu'un ou quelqu'une? He just called me a dyke, like.
So you was aware?
He knew, yeah, he knew. I'd sat my stepmom down too, and I told her, but she was like, honey, like, we already know, like, it's okay.
Okay.
And then my mom, like, I don't know, my mom, I don't even really remember how I told her. I feel like it was just something that she knew.
So how did that feel, knowing that, like, you had that support? And, like, was there a fear maybe in going, and then you kind of just like, okay, or like, how was that for you?
I think that the person that I was not necessarily worried about, but like, I didn't know how they would react the most would be my dad. But I didn't think that he would. No part in this did I ever feel like I wouldn't have a home, or I would lose like my family members, my extended family members. That is still up in the air for certain. And like, I personally don't feel like they need to be okay with it. Like, I understand. Yeah, I understand not being okay with it. I would appreciate not being okay with it, but still loving me. You know what I mean? That's cool. I love that. But ultimately, it's fine, because the most important people know, and it doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Yeah.
And how about friendship? I'm assuming your friends knew before your family ended up knowing, or you just never really...
I think the first person I told was my sister.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. And then I did tell my friends. I did tell my friends. That wasn't... Okay, I'm going to tell you guys a secret. The queers flock together. Okay, if you're at a school, you're questioning, for some reason, all the queers will just find each other and commiserate. So,
okay,
yeah, like,
nice.
I have queer friends, so it wasn't like, I don't know, it was like telling them about my day, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
One was funny. I had a gay friend that came out before I did, and then I told them, like, I think I'm gay. And then I was really scared to tell them specifically. I don't know why. And then I just like tell them and then hop on the bus quickly and like don't get a reaction. But then they text me and they're like, okay, like, it's totally cool. I'll see you in hell. So
That's
like,
funny.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Okay.
That's great.
And refreshing, I guess.
Yeah, it was, my favorite coming out story.
Okay. So this was probably like when you were 19, or how old were you?
Even before, because I knew that by the time that I was 16-ish, I knew that I liked girls. I just didn't know if I liked boys.
Okay.
So I was telling people then, and then when I knew at 19, I just like was like, yeah, like, but even like honestly, when I was like ending high school, finishing up school, I would say that by that time it was more like maybe like I'm not into boys, you know.
Okay.
So it wasn't necessarily I was like, oh, I like girls, like that was a for sure thing. But yeah, but then I moved and I found out I don't like boys.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I had a question. Hold on.
We wanted to talk about coming out.
Yes.
Yes.
But right before that, I think. Okay, so because you said you started to question around 14, and then 16, you were more like, okay, like I know I don't like guys. Oh, I'm still trying to figure out the men part, but at least girls, I know that. So, you know, I feel like a lot of the conversations sometimes it's like when somebody is 14 and they're trying to maybe discover what their sexuality is, people will be like, okay, well, you're still too young. I feel like there's often conversations where like you don't know yourself enough to know that you like girls, right? Or that you like men or boys. But when you're heterosexual, it's okay for you to know at 14.
Yeah.
But when you're not, there's already that like, oh, well, you're not sure yet. You don't know. So like, can we address, I don't know, that doubt that people might have that like.
I feel like y'all have the answer for that one.
know.
I don't think I need to say anything on that.
Yeah. I mean, I think, and also like this conversation like shows up a lot, especially when parents have to have a kid that's like a children transgender, just because like if their children, like their kids want to go about the transition, we require a lot like either medications or surgery and hormonal all that. Sometimes parents like it's almost like you're not done growing yet, like wait before making a decision that's so drastic. So I think that I heard like this argument a lot, but it's more when their kids is literally saying like, I really feel unhappy within my body right now, and I need to like get out of that body, like you know, like so. I don't have the answer for it.
But I'm wondering if like there's that like generalization of like, okay, well, maybe I don't know how to explain this. Like you're talking about changing your physical body, right? That's if there's that permanent change, I'm wondering if people are equating it to how you identify sexually.
Again, I don't really have the answer, but I think a lot of immigrant parents, sometimes I have heard they feel like it's just a phase. They're just like, okay, like it's fine that within that time you kind of want to experience like either dressing up like a tomboy, doing different thing, and then they kind of hoping that there's just a phase and you going back to like your heterosexual side, and that's the reason why when they meet like certain children that really want like to create like visible change, this is kind of where they're like, wait, it's just a phase. That's the way I would answer it. Again, please do not attack me. I do not have the answer for that. I think that's when I'm paying attention to a lot of conversation. This is kind of what I'm seeing as a pattern, but.
I do think that kind of goes into the compulsory heterosexuality that I was saying. I do think that like the idea that being straight is normal is so deeply ingrained in us that it's hard to see when you're not, that is normal too, you know? So like when, for instance, when I was in like elementary school, like preschool even, I was hugging or holding hands with the boys, and I get married with some of the boys, you know, like that is very normal. That's what I did. It was super normal. Yeah. When you're a kid, and then when you, let's say if I were to do that with a little girl, it also would have been normal because it's just pretend. It doesn't really matter. But then but there are other like teachers or people that will be like, oh no, like you're not supposed to do that with a girl, you do that with a boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that correction is innate in them. It's not even, they don't even think about that, how girls can marry girls.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And you're just holding hands. Nothing.
Like
you're putting in the idea in the child early on that there's something, that they're doing a sexual act, there's
it's just
hold on, hand knuckle, like that's it. This is it. It's not hard.
I feel like it all goes down from fear. You know, sometimes it's like some people say like the more that you see saying certain things, the more you can either be influences or give you certain idea, which is totally false, because you can want to experience 1 to 2 times, but it doesn't actually define your sexuality. Because a lot of people, like, they're kind of curious and they try, and then after that they figure out, okay, this is not for me, you know? So even if you decide to hold hand 2 times just kind of to figure out like where you stand, I don't think there's nothing, but there's people, the old mentality that truly believe that if you constantly expose to that and you keep on holding hand, like the proximity of things, like if you don't have a lot of men friend, by default you may turn out to be lesbian. Because I know there was like kind of, I read something like, especially with the WNBA, like, you know, like, and they said that the fact that they're just always together and they play like a men's sport, technically they have more chance. Anyways, there's no correlation at all.
Yeah, I don't see it.
It's probably a man that wrote the article. But it's crazy how certain people, the fact that they can't really get with the program, they will write certain article that there's no correlation to it. There's no, it's not even proven. It's just false ideology out there.
That becomes detrimental when you're adding false ideologies or your own personal experiences or your own personal, I don't know, values, and trying to push that onto other people.
Yeah.
It's just that we've seen that, I guess, also like in I don't want to say, there's certain spaces where we've seen values being pushed onto others and people thinking that they need to claim that as their own, but that actually just causing more harm than good to the person. So in those instances,
that's it.
I know that's usually the idea of coming out, but I remember I had a family member in their school. They were doing, their classmate had done a project about the LGBTQ community and within youth. And one of the, it was like a video interviewing people and stuff like that. And then one of the main themes was the idea that there shouldn't be anything related to like, I shouldn't have to just come out. I should just be, right? I shouldn't have to, hey, by the way, like, I'm gay. You know, it's just, I shouldn't have to do that step to, like, what am I proving? What am I trying to do, right? I should just be allowed to be like, okay, well, like, I like women, I like men. Let me go about my day and do that. And if I get married and I get married to a woman and I get married to a man, then that's just what it is. But it doesn't have to be anything that's shocking. It doesn't have to be anything that's, I don't know,
sitting anyone down.
Yeah.
Like,
so I don't know. I don't know if you want to touch on that.
Definitely. Like my sister, in my mind, I know that she probably wasn't the first person to say this, but in my mind, she's the pioneer of this. Of like, when I was telling her about it and like how I was going to tell her parents and all that, she told me like, I don't understand why you have to sit them down and tell them. Like, why can't you just wait until you have a girlfriend and tell them that you have a girlfriend? Like that to me makes a lot of sense. Yeah. You know, like I think that's really the only time that you need to, that is the 21st century way of coming out, I think. Yeah. Today, I think that would be the most appropriate thing. I think the assumption that everyone is straight is very weird. Yeah. Very, very weird.
Played out, if anything.
I think so too. Like, there are a lot of new gay movies. Like, representation is getting better in the media, I would have to say. So I just feel like everyone knows the gays exist. Like
100%.
And everyone knows that there are different looks for the gays. Everyone knows there are bisexuals that exist too. I don't think that everyone validates them necessarily, but that's a thing. Like, I feel like it's weird to assume that someone's just going to be dating a boy or
Okay, so the
Like,
question
yes.
I have
Yes.
is, there's queer, and my understanding is when using the term queer is anyone that identify as queer, it's just to say they're not heterosexual. It's just this, and is it, am I accurate, or?
I think I'm under the impression that queer is an umbrella term for anybody a part of the LGBTQ plus community. I think that that's more, because you can be even genderqueer. Like, I think that someone who, for instance, would identify as non-binary, I think that they would also identify as queer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess, like, sorry,
so just a quick question. So being queer doesn't necessarily have to do with your sexual orientation.
I don't think so.
Okay. I think that's the key part of understanding.
I think you just have to be like not cishet.
Okay.
And you can be queer.
Okay.
I think you answered the question.
Yeah.
And I think, like, I don't want to dive into much into it either too, because I feel like that's just a whole conversation. But I know that there's the whole, like, debate, not really debate, but within the community, there's also, like, people that's not in agreement of certain labels, or not agreement to, like, example, like I heard, like, this transgender is just transgender apart, and not transgender doesn't feel like they actually fit in that community. And again, I know that transgender is, like, I don't want to speak on their behalf, or we cannot speak on their behalf just because they experience, like, something very different. But what's your thought or your opinion around, like, certain transgender actually don't feel like they are part of the LGBTQ T plus?
To me, like, I don't think that I can really talk on trans like feelings or anything like that, because to me that's their business. Me as a Black lesbian, for instance, I don't really feel like, this is, I think, maybe the second interview that I do, and it has to do with me being gay. And I think that's super funny, because being gay is not a really important part of me at all. 100%. Like, not even, that part we all know, like, we've all heard that part before. But I mean, like, in the sense that I don't even,
you don't want to be seen as
no.
The only thing.
No, not even that. It's really just, to me, like, I have, as a Black girl, as a Black woman, like, I am Black first.
100%.
Right? So, like, so for me, like, queer and being gay, all of that, like, it happens after the fact, you know? Like, to me, it's not, like, I will ride for being for being Black. Like, I want my surroundings to be Black. I want it to be as Black as it can get, you know? Like, my music, all of that. Not actually as Black, you know, anyways.
Yeah.
So, but, like, in terms of it being gay, like, the only thing that I like about gay stuff is, you know, I like to see two girls kissing because I like girls to kiss, but that's about it. Like, I watch so many compilation videos of lesbian couples from TV shows and stuff, you know, like, that is the closest thing to queer that I feel. I do think that the community itself is, like, very white. I think that they are, like, at the head of, or the front of the movement, and I think that it does not leave space for other people necessarily, like, that are more minorities, like trans people, like, so I think that that's really what I would understand the sentiment that trans people have.
So that goes into another question that we had. So can you talk more about the experience of, like, being Black within that community? Because, like you said, like, a lot of the head of the movements, they're white, right? And if you come into these spaces, you're Black first before you're queer. So it's kind of like, okay, where am I really supposed to fit in this community if you're gonna say that you're open and you're encompassing of everybody, but here I am, and I can't really be a part of it because of the skin color that I have. So I don't know if you want to touch a bit more on that.
To me, like, I think that the best thing, or the most comfort I find is within people of color that are queer. You know, like, I think that they get it. Like, it is hard to be in this minority, being gay, and share that with people that have different lived experiences, like white gay people. You know what I mean? So they're marginalized by like one tick. You know, I got like 3-4 under my belt. So it is hard to like identify with them and to feel close to them. But I do feel that, you know, as any white ally, like, that's what you'll get with the queers too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was gonna say, like, how do you think the white queer community could be also better allies for Black queers? I was going to say, if that is even something that Black queer community members are wanting, or if they're okay with really being within their own space and having their own,
honestly,
community.
like, at the end of the day, I do feel that I've only spoken for myself today.
Yeah.
So I would have to say that for me, like, I think in the same way that you would want a white ally to in anything, like, understand the space that you take when you are taking up space. I want you to make room, literally make room for other people, whether it be at a show, and let's say it's like a Black artist who is loved by the queers, probably like Lizzo or something, you know, like, we all love Lizzo, she's cool. Why not let Black people take in this moment a little more and let them in the front? Because we all know that all the other queer artists that are going to be here are not going to be people of color. Not that Lizzo's gay, I don't know about her life, but, like, you know, like, just understanding that. That would be. But I don't know if you want to ask me the question of how can the Black community.
Yeah, I was gonna go into. I was gonna go. That was gonna be after.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, how could the Black community?
I have so many answers for this one.
So let's dive into it. Just go. Just start talking.
Okay. So this is how I feel the Black community could best support queer people. First, I would say that I think gender roles in the Black community are so heavily maintained and not questioned. And I think that is one of the biggest differences that would help be an ally. I understand the idea that, you know, everyone have a role in the home. I think that that's very smart. It makes sense. I think the idea that it is assigned based on gender and not on, like, ability and skill.
I can't cook, y'all, so.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't work. Like, I don't want to work.
Facts.
I'll clean the house.
Facts.
I'll clean the house, but I don't want to work. But not because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
I just don't like to work.
Yeah.
You know, I think that would be a really big factor. Yeah. I think that, like, the idea of like masculine women being less attractive, I feel like that is also very heavily in the Black community.
Masculine women. Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah,
yes,
like masculine presenting women, like, pose, I don't know. I think that, like, I think for me, another thing that the Black community could do to support queer people would also be to make room for queer people. You know, we have good music that is like R&B too. I think that, like, normalizing that, just a whole bunch of normalizing it within the Black community. I think, and grace.
Sorry, I just want to touch on that because when it comes to music, I think we know that in our industry, and it can be very toxic.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times we've normalized men who are artists who have a history of being abusive or have a history of sexual assault and things like that. And we've kept them on that pedestal and we've allowed them to
make more money.
Yeah. And And that's taking away space for people who
are nice.
Yeah, exactly. Who are kind-hearted,
Yeah.
who genuinely want to support and to help in a manner that, I don't know, contributes to world peace.
Yeah.
You know, type of thing. You know,
and world hunger.
Yeah, all that stuff. So I appreciate that comment. So I think I just want to highlight that.
I think that like what do you? I do have questions for you. Like, where do you feel the Black community could be more supportive towards the queer?
I think that I have like one cousin that is very gay. Like by that, he's like, since he was a kid, like we saw all the sign, and our like the Black man in the family was just trying to push the like be a man, like stop doing this. This is not masculine, but he's
work.
him and he's doing great right now.
Nice.
But I guess like I feel like where the Black community would be a better ally for the queer community, especially the young kids growing up that's still trying to figure out like their sexuality. Honestly, I just feel like this toxic, very like the way of education, like the way that they're trying to, like they're constantly putting fear on their children, like the kids, like the kids feel like they can't even have like a proper communication with their father or their mothers, so therefore like they go and explore their sexuality in a very dangerous way. Most of the time. I think this is where I feel like a lot of things should be avoided, if especially us now growing up where it is more normalized. We should be able to now have a conversation and not like our kids feeling like guilty and being shamed of something that's just so natural to them. But also, I not going to lie that I think that also within the LGBTQ community, I think it would be important that they also come with like, I don't know, like, and I know it's hard to say this because it's like it's like you said, like it's not really their identity. They can, being gay is like being heterosexual. So you don't need to start a whole group of like how to talk to me about it. But I do feel like it's necessary, especially when religion takes such a big part into our community. Like the Black community is like driven by the religion, like our entire everything about us is driven by like religion. And I think that it's very important to come with a certain type of guideline. And I think it's like kind of like,
when you say I don't know what you mean by guideline.
For more the older generation, and by guideline, it's not like do this, do that. It's more like, okay,
like a guideline for like the parents, the older generation, to know how to like be okay. Yeah.
Have proper conversation.
Okay. I completely disagree with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But I don't think a lot of people would share my opinion.
Okay.
I think that to me, I don't think that it's fair to necessarily want everyone to see things the same way and agree with it the same way. I think that what we need to learn how to do as a society is to disagree in a healthy manner. And I think that like if you were told your whole life that this one thing that your kid is doing is a bad thing, that they're going to go to hell, and you're working your whole life to protect your kid from going to hell, you pray for them every night, you make sure that they're praying by bringing them to church. You know what I'm saying? You're literally looking out for your child's soul from the jump. And then your kid is trying to make you question everything that you grew up on.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's necessarily fair to feel as though like if my parents don't like 100% back me on being gay or whatever you identify as is a lot to ask, you know? Like I think that it's a lot to ask. And I think that there is a way to love your kid without necessarily agreeing with what they do. You know, at the end of the day, after a certain point, your kid is grown. They are going to make decisions that you do not agree with.
Yeah.
And like those decisions, you're going to have to live with it. And I think that is exactly how it should be if they can't get over it. Mm-hmm. I hope to God they can. I pray that they can first.
No, I totally agree. Yeah. But I think that it's just the communication part. Like, example, in university, I did a class of interpersonal communication skills, and I'm just like, is that even a class? But it is a class, because a lot of time people don't know how to talk. People doesn't know how to talk. And even mental health, and there's courses about mental health, there's courses about suicidal, because the truth is people do not know how to address certain conversation. Mm-hmm. And what I meant by guideline, I just feel like if the parents have any type of suspicion, or the kid, I think there should be of how to approach certain conversation, either sexuality too. It doesn't even
that's what I would say.
It's more about like, how do we start this conversation in a healthy way, more than like, here's a guideline how you should treat me. It's more like, how do we start this conversation, and where do we go from now? Especially like, because I feel like a few last episode we talk about like the accidental toxicity of like Black mothers, because we add accidental towards it because we understand it's not intentional, but there's a way to be better. It's only having the proper conversation. Therefore, I bring a proper tool. And when I'm thinking about proper tool, I'm only thinking about like, it needs to be something, a tool that can somehow help to be better. Because on the other side, when I go to church, they have a tool, which is the Bible, and they have a whole pastor that's preaching something.
That is a really good point.
So I think there should be something to help and support somehow, no?
But the same way that there are times where people in the church have misused the Bible,
100%.
people can also misuse whatever guidelines were given to them, quote unquote,
but
right?
The guidelines are more about like how to have questions, like open questions, into like less about like, you do this and I'll be mad at you, because the Bible is more like, it's not really a real guideline, right? It's like, it's proposing, if you don't do this, there's consequences with that. Mm-hmm. Other than what I'm referring to is, let's have this conversation in order to be healthy. Like, I don't know if you guys ever took like the assist class, which is like applied suicidal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This question is proper
forms of communication. You have to ask the person.
That was the most shocking thing that I found out from my training, was that if you have suspicions of someone being suicidal, is that you ask.
That's the first thing you have to do.
Yeah. I was shocked. Yeah. I was like, wait.
There's no.
You don't beat around the bush.
That's it. No, you just go.
Because people once they hear, they're like, oh shit.
Like someone noticed.
Someone noticed.
So then I can actually feel comfortable to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same thing with the whole gay thing. Like my dad, that was how I came out to him. You know, like I didn't even tell him. He asked, and personally, like, I just think that it's very hard to have. We are so not over colonization.
I was gonna say,
we're so not over that. Like, I feel like the Black community is so stuck in that. I think that's where literally toxic masculinity, that's where, like, I remember someone was on TikTok was talking about the resemblances between the like podcast bros, the alpha males, and slave masters. Yeah, it was very interesting. Pretty much saying like, the way that they want to own a person, you know, you can't go out without telling me all these things, is essentially what a slave master would do. Like, you want to be a slave master over your wife.
There's a lot of conversations that I've heard where it's Black. Okay, don't come for me, guys.
Yeah. This is a safe space, please.
It's like a lot of Black men, what they're doing is they're just, what's the word I'm looking for? Perpetuating what has been done to them from the slave masters onto us, right? So they've either seen the slave masters do it to the wives or the women, and then they've seen it do it to them, so then that's all they quote unquote know, and that's the cycle that they go into. And it's unconscious a lot of the times, and when you try to address it, it's a whole shit show.
Yeah.
Or it can be for some, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, honestly, being a Black woman, we all know, like, okay, I would say me being gay, my like identity, the biggest threat to my identity is a Black man, honestly. And I don't like saying that in public, like, but truthfully, my barbers are usually always Black guys. Like, I'm very hesitant to tell them that I'm gay. Yeah.
That kind of goes into our last conversation when we were talking about our relationship with our fathers.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if, like, for you, it may be being gay, but for us, well, at least for me, I can speak for myself, I grew up being around hyper masculine men. So being in front of a Black man, although it's what I'm usually around most of the time, like having a full conversation and connection, that can be very hard. So I can understand where you're coming from, where you say you might feel threatened around them, but I'm wondering if sometimes it's the Black woman in you also.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the Black woman in me, and then there's an added with me being gay.
Okay.
Because I think that, like, something that, you know, I think something that I didn't mention actually, where the Black community could help the queer community, is just also acknowledging the queer community. I think that would go a long way.
That they don't
that would go a long way.
Yeah.
Like, I think that, like, and validating it, you know, like, my sexuality, I have the blessing of being a girl. Like, honestly, real talk, if I were a guy, would my family be as okay with it, is the question. No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's where the whole gender norms thing goes. Like, why is it less threatening for me to be with a girl and it's taken less seriously than a guy? Why can't my gay brother, if I had one, like, be macking on his boy too, the way that I'm macking on my girl? Like,
patriarchy,
you know? And I think that we need to free ourselves from those shackles, bro. Like, it's crazy. Honestly, I also think going forward, I'm not going to say patriarchy or anything. I'm just call it what it is, or even or even capitalism. I'm just going to call it what it is. White supremacy. Yeah, like, I think that is really what links everything all together and what puts all of us in danger, white people included. Like, yeah. But, yeah, we love being gay. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I do think that God was looking out for me when he made me gay, though.
In what sense?
I don't have to date men.
Oh, facts.
Dating men is hard.
I agree.
I'm not gonna lie, dating women is hard too. Like, I feel like that is something that is so underrated, how hard it is to date women.
What is the complicated thing about it?
Like, not even, I think that women have a really good rep about being, like, great. And I think that, like, honestly, we do use that to our advantage and feel like, you know, yeah. But women are also, like, whatever kind of fuckboy problems you have with men, you will find that in a woman too.
100%.
And I feel like that is underrated. Okay. Women are hard.
I think it's humans are hard as well.
Yeah.
And people just assume that if your gender or your sex is different, then you'll have a different outcome, but it's not the case. Like,
I agree.
People have baggage, and whichever relationship you jump into, you gotta deal with that baggage, and it's not easy.
Yeah, and I think it's the baggage that adds on to it, because nobody ever had, like, a healthy relationship with themselves and willing to heal. So therefore, they grab all the baggage in the past and they just, like, vomit to the next person, which is...
For those who are still trying to figure out their sexuality and trying to understand where they fit within the community, what is something that you can maybe give as advice or support for them, or guidance or anything?
Biggest thing that I would say is something that I didn't do for myself was to stop questioning it. At the end of the day, feelings are feelings are feelings. It's not something that you figure out. It's something that just happens. I don't think that anyone should tell themselves that they are any kind of sexuality at any point, honestly. I think that sexuality is very weird, because ultimately, like, you can be, not everyone, but certain, like anybody could really be attracted to anybody if they like, you know, you just fall on someone who just happens to tug on your heartstrings the right way. And I don't think that you should limit yourself with not experiencing that just because you told yourself that you were something else. You know, so just question yourself, be open to new experiences, and definitely don't try to figure it out. It will figure itself out.
Okay, perfect. So I just want to say thank you.
Yes, thank you, Sade. We appreciate you for coming. I don't know if you want to let people know where they can find you, if you want people to.
My Instagram handle is _NotSoSlimShady.
I love that.
Hit me up. And if you're a pretty girl, actually, please do. My number is 6.
But you can definitely slide in the DM.
If you want. Is that? Do we still like
people
that?
still do, listen, people still do it. People still do it. Don't hit on the DMs. That's how we secured a few bags out here. So
100%. So yes, thank you again. And honestly, like this conversation really helped me. Like I was always like, I felt like I was always open-minded, but I still had a lot of question too, you know. And I think that you were very clear that this is your experience and you're not speaking on behalf of all queer community. And I do respect you coming here and sharing your experience with us. And again, thank you, Myriam.
Thank you. I think, you know, although like, you know, I consider myself a very open person, and so whoever comes in my circle, I look at the person. It's whatever comes after, but that doesn't define you. But I think it's still very important for us to still do that work to understand our privileges, especially being heterosexual. At least that's what I know for now. So it's just the open-mindedness that comes with this conversation and allowing us to just see how we can better support the community. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for holding space.
Okay. It's good.
Yes. And this is our wrap, and happy Pride Month.
Yes. Happy Pride.
Hey, yes.
We always clap at the end.
Always clap. That's good. Thank you, Sade.
Thank you.
This is good.